All right, our riders getting started here for their flying 200-meter times. We are doing the qualifying event for a sprint tourney today in this final session of Fred's race. Danny Scoville starting things off as rider number 1, Lucy Gilchrist and Mila Meha on deck following. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to what will be a fun afternoon of sprinting for juniors, masters, and elite riders. We actually have ourselves set up for a pretty good tournament in terms of the number of registrants, so we look forward to working our way through a lot of sprinting today. And your first rider on track. Today we begin with this qualifying event, the flying 200 meter. Riders have 2 laps around the track to set their top speed. On the second lap, we'll time them from the back line, which is 200 meters from this line over here. You see that on the far side of the track from us is a white line with that black line down the middle. Timing tape over there. Time is grabbed on this side at the end of that second lap. Scoville, our first rider today in this 200-meter event, taking the times that our riders set, and we will use that to help seed them into their brackets. 8 riders for the juniors today, and Scoville looking to set the first time in the competition. Lucy Gilchrist takes the track, number 22. On deck is Mila Meha, followed by Bella Meha. They'll be followed by Logan. 8 juniors showing up today, so what we're going to do is actually take our riders and give them all a chance to go through a tournament format. So we'll have sort of a minor and major tournament occurring. Top 4 speeds will do the major side of the tournament, and then the bottom 4 speeds will do the minor side of the tournament. So all 8 riders will get a lot of chances to sprint today, sort of in the Fred's race mentality. The time from the official timing on that last run from Danny was 14:25. Still double checking the timing system against that, but 14:25 on the hand clock. Lucy Gilchrist now chasing the time of 14:25 and trying to seed herself into this junior competition. Number 201, that's Mila on the bike. Bella's going to come out next, and Logan is on deck following her. Gilchrist, 14:489 the time. 14:489 for Gilchrist. Still a fast time so far, set by Scoville, the 14:25. Miller getting the bell. Once I get through these juniors, the first 8 riders, we are going to try to do 2 ups on the track to go a little bit quicker. It's just important on your first lap never to hit the timing tape, so stay high along the rail. And on your second lap, you'll come down into that lower half of the track. You'll hit the timing tape. That'll help accelerate the pace here. This is Bella on the track right now. Milla's time came in a moment ago, but 17.606. Logan Lee is set to start next, followed by Merrick Gallagher. This is Logan Lee now taking the track. Our first 4 riders, wearing similar jerseys for the Jay Baker Juniors. Here's Lake Washington Bella Broadmark Realty team, Logan Lee on the track. The time coming in for Bella was 15.377. 15.377 for Bella. We are carrying the Sprint Tournament live for the friends and family out there that want to tune in and watch. You can pick up the stream, as usual, at velodrome.org/live if you want to send that to folks out there and let them know that you're here today competing in this Sprint Tournament. So let them check in on how you're doing. If you already are tuned in, welcome. We are very early in our tournament. This is just the qualifying portion, the 200 meters for each of our riders to get seated. We begin with these 8 junior riders at the top of this Flying 200. This is Logan coming in. The fast time so far, Danny Scoville, 14.25. We'll see where Logan's time comes in as Merrick Gallagher takes the track and Henry Armstrong is checked in. On deck after Armstrong is Manmeet Ranu. Logan with a quick pace of 14.506. 14.506 for Logan Lee. Gallagher in that red helmet gets the bell. 13.573 for Gallagher. 13.573. Yeah, those tuning in at home might be seeing kind of the status here, looking for warm days and low wind, and that is not really the day we have today, so our tournimeter time's a little slow for everybody so far, but that still doesn't stop us from getting the competition sorted out here for the sprint tournament happening later, as that's the primary purpose of these tournimeters. Times on the track right now, getting the bell, that's Henry Armstrong. Monmeet is set to start next. This is Monmi Ranu, and looks to be the final junior to set times today. I did get the time for Henry. I will announce that now. That was 13.684, currently the second fastest time for Armstrong. Gallagher's time of 13.573 stands at as the fastest time today for our juniors. One more here to try to see if we can break ahead of 13.5 as Monmeet gets the bell. Riders will start coming out a little bit faster onto the track, so do be mindful. We're going to have two ups happening here, two riders on track at all times. So we're going to need to get riders queued up a little faster. So we have Alex Siegel already on track, Tom Coates ready to go, Nancy Dahlberg and Angel Liano. That's Alex Siegel getting the bell, and Tomko coming onto the track. Dahlberg is set to start next with Angel Liano on deck, followed by Kevin Von Hellebeck. Alex Siegel's time is 11.199. Monmeet, 12.966, the quick time for the juniors. Monmeet Ranu with a time of 12.966. Siegel, 11.199. Nancy Dahlberg comes onto the track as Tomko in the blue for the Center Cycles team is currently in his timing effort. Angeliano set to start next with Van Hellebeck on deck, followed by Juan Meja. Quick time for Daniel Tomko, 12.407. 12.407. This is Dahlberg in her timing effort now. The rider that came on track is Angel Liano. Von Hollebeck set to start next. Meha and then Thiel, I believe. James will be up after. Dahlberg time of 18.087 and 18.087 for Nancy Dahlberg. This is Angel Liano coming along the home straight getting the bell. Coming on track behind him is Kevin Von Hollebeck. Juan Meja is ready to start next, followed by James Thiel and then Chris Deerdorf, excuse me. Mistake on the call there for Nancy. An updated time is 17.087. 17.087. And Angel Liano, 15.855. Liano, 15.855. It's Kevin Von Hellebeck getting the bell. Here's Kevin coming around the track for setting his time. Juan Meja is already on the track in his first lap. Running for Vertical World Cycling. Coming up next, riding for Team Atomic is James ready to go. Chris Deerdorf, followed by James Campbell Harris, are lined up behind. Kevin Van Hellebeck, your time is 15.012. 15.012. As Juan Meja gets the bell. James Steele, the rider, now over in turn 3 on his first lap, running for Team Atomic. The fast time today so far, Alex Siegel's time of 11.199, set at the top of this group of riders right after we finished with our quick juniors. Juan coming in with a time of 13.904. 13.904 for Juan Meja. James gets the bell as he gets into his effort down the back straight. Chris Deerdorf's come on track. James Campbell Harris is next to start. Ken Dong, the next rider after that. In fact, Deerdorf's already on the track and in the middle of their first lap. James Campbell Harris is now ready to start next with Ken Dong on deck, followed by Hyun Lee. James' time comes in at a 12.562. 12.562. Rolling up the speed down the back straight, our rider from Bry Hop Racing, Chris Deerdorf. Currently in his first lap, James Campbell Harris for AirTech Racing. Chris gets a time of 12.831. Chris Deerdorf, 12.831, the time. Ken Dong is set to start next with Hyun Lee on deck. Next rider would be Eric Waterman. James gets the bell on his second lap. James with his time incoming as behind him Ken Dong's come onto the track. Hyun Lee's ready to set to start next. Eric Waterman on deck, followed by Hans Lofelholz. James Campbell Harris with a 12.472. In good company here, as it looks like 4 riders all sitting in the mid-12s. Good sign for what should be a fun sprint tournament for a lot of these competitors. This is Ken Dong now getting the bell. Hyun Lee coming onto the track. Eric Waterman is next to start on deck. Hans Lofelholz followed by Keith Bruneau. On his first lap currently, that's Hyun Lee in the white and blue. Over in turn 4. Ken Dong, time 13.616. 13.616. Eric Waterman comes on the track next, behind Hyun. Hans Lofelholz set to start next. Keith Bruneau on deck, followed by Timothy Luther. Looking at the rider up in turn 3 is Eric Waterman on his first lap. Hoonley, your time was 13.016. 13.016 for Hoon. Hans Lofelholz is set to come onto the track next behind Waterman, Keith Bruneau, and then Timothy Luther, the next couple of riders. Waterman gets the bell. The rider in white, Hans Lofelholz, on track for his first lap. Eric Waterman with the time of 12.868. 12.868. Behind Lofelholz, we got Bruneau ready to start. Timothy Luther on deck, followed by Diane Snoblin. That's the bell for Lofelholz. Our JBVelodrome Club competitor coming down from British Columbia. Live results can be found once this event is over at velodrome.org/live. Well, we will be posting those. So if viewers out there are cheering on for their riders and didn't hear the time called, you can get there by clicking the link in the video description or just typing in velodrome.org/live. After the 200 meters are finished, you can check out how the riders did. We will be posting those results there after the event concludes. Hans' time is 12.348. Joining that group of riders in the mid-12s. Fairly quick time today for Hans as we now have Keith Bruneau on track for the Flying Gorilla Academy. Another one of our British Columbia competitors. Timothy Luther's on track now. Diane Snoblin set to start next. Behind that will be Kevin Ulrich. Bruneau, the time was 12.134. 12.134. Another quick time here for one of our British Columbia competitors. This now rider coming up, Timothy Luther on his bell lap. All right, and we have Diane Snoblin on track getting in her first lap as well. Here comes Luther, the final rider in the Masters competition to set a time today. Our first elite, Diane Snoblin, is on track getting ready to go. It'll be Kevin Ulrich and Guy McClintock coming on next. Luther with a quick time of 11.737. 11.737. Anything sub 12 today in this not perfect conditions. Windy and a little bit chilly here today at the Velodrome. So riders battling those crosswinds and not having a great time with it, but nonetheless, we should have a fun time with the tournament later on. On the track here, we're looking to turn 4. Diane Snoblin in her first lap, just about to get the bell. Kevin Ulrich coming on track behind her. Guy McClintock followed by Andy Baker are next up. This will be our first time in the elite group of riders. We've got 8 competing in this group as well to form our, what will be essentially 2 sprint tournaments. The rider in blue is Kevin Ulrich on his first lap for Gene Johnson's cycling team. And the time coming in for Snoblin in a moment. Diane Snoblin, 12.824. 12.824 for Snoblin. This is the final session for Fred's race. If you're tuning in online and wondering what we're doing, this is the last session and focusing on a match sprint tournament for our riders. This is the qualifying portion where riders just put out their top speed and we will seed them into the tournament based on their placing here. Some may be racing in a major tournament, others in the minor tournament. Also, the timing for the Masters will split them in half to create 2 fields of 8, further broken down into major and minor. So lots of sprinting going on today. These folks came here wanting to do some sprinting, and they will be rewarded for coming out here and joining us today. We will make sure they get lots of chances to compete here at the track, and I appreciate that coming from the whole Fred Would Go and the supporting riders racing approach of this entire race and this whole event. Kevin Ulrich with a time of 13.22. 13.22 for Ulrich. Guy McClintock, the rider we see along the rail over in turn 4. British Columbia rider for the Flying Gorilla Academy team, with Andy Baker coming on track behind him. Getting the time in for guys shortly. Andy Baker for the Broadmark Realty team is on the track now in his first lap, with Carl Preda set to start next, followed by Daniel Tomko coming back for the elites. A new quick time today so far, 11.061 for Guy, 11.061 for Guy McClintock on this tricky day out in the wind. Knocking on the door of 10 seconds is a very quick time here, especially today. No, Hune, it's the Masters and the Faster Masters. We could call them the Master Blasters, I suppose. Bell's ringing for number 4, Andy Baker on track. Our quick time this afternoon, 11.061 sent by McClintock. So far, there are 5 more riders to go. Hasn't updated his account yet to reflect his new team membership, but riding for the Broadmark team, Carl Pratis. First time I see him on a track bike this year, but he's out here trying his hand at the sprint tournament today. Another quick time today for Andy Baker. That's an 11.697. 11.697 for Andy Baker. Getting the bell for Carl. Coming on deck, or onto the track, excuse me, is Tomko, followed by Siegel and then Carlberg. Couple more riders to try to break into that 10-second barrier. Still coming up. This rider recently coming out of the junior program and coming back to racing out for the Broadmark team. First time been on a bike, his brother says, in 8 months. So he's ready to go. That's Tomko on along the rail on the back straight. 3 riders left for setting times before we sort out our riders and get ready to transition into some tournaments here. Carl Pratis, 12.457. 12.457 for Carl Pratis. Tomko in the blue gets his bell. Alex Siegel comes onto the track on his first lap. On deck, our final starter for the event, Andrew Carlberg. .033 for Tomko in the Elite's timing. Better by 0.3 of a second than his first run. There you go. Improving. Just do 5 more and you'll... No, wait, that's not how that works. 2 riders left. We got Alex Siegel on track, also putting out his second effort. One of our fastest time today when he rode earlier, 11.199 the last time for the Masters timing. Now he's riding it again to compete in the Elite tournament as well. There will be some time between the end of the 200s and the beginning of the sprints to seed the competitors. So riders, you will have a break here before we start the sprint tournament. I would imagine in the area of 10 minutes or so to get things sorted out. We will not be starting the tournament immediately. And also on track, Andrew Carlberg to set his time. Oh, another quick time for Siegel. A little faster than his first run also. 11.051 this time. 11.051 for Siegel. And that'll be the fastest time so far. Our record holder on track now, coefficient of speed, Andrew Carlberg. Not the kind of day to chase his own record, but someone's going to knock into that 10s zone, even if it's a high 10. This is the one to do it. So we'll see how Andrew does today. And our last rider for the Flying 200s.
And track record holder.
Extra emphasis on the current track record holder on track now. Yeah, back on July 4th, set the record time of 10.55 at our track this year. So that's exciting news. That's a record that had been standing for a while. So, and still quick today, 10.705. Not far off of it. 10.705 for Andrew Karlberg, our quick time today. And that'll do it with that most recent time, 10.705, sort of setting the quick time today. Everyone's going to be seated appropriately based on their timings from the 200s. We need to pull tape and get ourselves set for the tournament, which will require a little bit of work on our end. So we're going to take a little bit of an officials break here. We'll leave the stream running and the camera on. I'm going to get off mic for just a few minutes. We'll get ourselves sorted out, and we'll be back with you as soon as racing is ready to restart. Sponges as well, please. Can we remove the sponges? Sponges, picked up, please. Volunteers, sponges. Thank you.
All right, and in our little bit of a gap here, we have a special interviewer walking around, kind of killing some time here. So Cadence. How would you go ask them?
What was the thing?
How was your 200?
How's your 200?
It was okay. It wasn't my fastest time, but it was decent, I guess.
What was your 200?
Slow.
How is the 200?
It was okay.
Let's keep asking people.
Like, how's your 200?
I think that's my personal record, and I'm very happy with it, especially given how today is. I'm feeling good.
What is that?
Apparently I'm doing this one. Alex, how was your 200?
Which one?
Both of them.
Tried something a little different first time. Wasn't as quick. Would have loved to go under 11, but it's not the fastest day, and I'm tired already. And I got two.
All right, 400. He's did 400. All right, Cadence, ask Andrew.
How's your 200?
It was good. You know, it's a little breezy out there today, but got the job done, got the #1 seed. Look forward to facing everybody in the tournament.
Happy birthday, Andy.
Oh, thank you.
Talk to anybody else? We asked Eric, he's waiting. How his 200 was?
Mama.
Apparently I'm doing, yeah, say. Try it.
Mama.
Okay, no. How was your 200?
I was gonna tell you, Cadence, I beat my sister.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right, we still got a few minutes while they're sorting things. Thank you for our brief intermission. Looks like first two groups are posted. Is that juniors and the faster master? The fasters? The masters and the fasters? All right, juniors, you're up first. Come on over. Round one is 423, 201, 328, 202, 456, 22, 10 versus 115. So come on over. Four 23 201. Oh, there we go. All juniors, come on over. You will need holders. You will need holders.
Mommy Ranu number 423 and 201. That's going to be Milla taking him on in this first round ride. This is the quarterfinals, which will be used to, in most sprint tournaments, you'd be eliminating half of the field at this point. We're going to put them into a major and a minor. So this would be the fastest time versus the slowest coming out of the 200 meters. So it's the advantage to Monmeet here, as he already showed, he's got the quicker time. It's intended to kind of set you up for the fastest time out of the 200s to have an easier sprint getting into the tournament. Today, this is just going to separate the two riders into two groups. So we'll go through all the riders to do the same thing. We practically have four categories racing today. The juniors, I think we're calling them the faster masters, the elite, and then the masters. So we've got four groups that are going to do the same process of splitting in half via these semifinals, or excuse me, quarterfinals. And right now we've got Monmeet on the inside position as Milla's on the outside and back as they just got the bell about 200 meters ago, and now they're on their final 200 meters of the sprint. This is Eric Gallagher and Bella Meha going head to head here in our quarterfinals. On deck is bib 456 Armstrong and 922. That's going to be Gilchrist, number 22 as well. They get the bell. And Gallagher will make his way towards the major tournament, and we'll see Bella again in the minor tournament. Armstrong and Gilchrist coming up next. The next group will be the Faster Masters, which I have number 42, Siegel, and Deerdorf, 335, going head to head in the first matchup. Going to look at there Armstrong in the lower position on the track. Number 22 up along the rail, Lucy Gilchrist. Riding side by side with Henry Armstrong in the inside position, number 456. Lucy Gilchrist along the rail. Both riders looking to advance to the major tournament if they can win this matchup. By the 200-meter times, they are getting a little closer here, a little tighter in terms of their top speed. Armstrong launching the attack first, with Lucy trying to recover quickly. It'll be Henry making his way for the major tournament. Scoville and Lee coming up to the track now. They're followed by Siegel and Deerdorf. Then I have number 36 and number 337. Luther and Theo coming up after them. It's Logan Lee on the outside in the white with the blue helmet. And with the orange helmet for the Jay Baker Juniors, number 10 is Danny Scoville. And by the timing, it should be the closest matchup today for the juniors. Scoville, number 10, takes the lead in the opening part as she's compelled to do from that inside position. One rider to the major tournament and the other to the minor tournament from this quarterfinal race. Next, we move into the Masters, our Faster Master category, as we're calling it unofficially. And after that will be elites. Those 8 riders will be ready after the Faster Masters are wrapped up here. On the track, though, this is our last heat in the first round for the juniors. Logan Lee takes the front position, but still along the rail and has a lot of lane and opportunity from where he's at, but it's pretty far away from the finish line, so both riders still buying their time. Scoville has assumed that back position. Just wants to play it from the rear wheel if she can. Logan not feeling he has to hurry along yet. Maybe expecting a jump from Scoville. Keeps looking at left shoulder. There it comes. He didn't quite catch it. She's got the big advantage now. Logan would have to get a really big turn of speed here to close this distance down, as it looks like Scoville had a very effective jump on the back straight and has enough to close this thing in for moving to the major. The black and red, number 335 for the Brap Racing Team, Chris Deerdorf on the outside lane. Getting set to go, and next to him, wearing the national colors in that Broadmark Realty Capital jersey, and it's Alex Siegel, Masters National Champion in this event recently, number 42, getting the start. And again, these quarterfinal rounds, we start with the most lopsided matchups and then work our way to some of the tighter timings. So just by the 200s alone, Siegel favored. The rider in the national colors, number 42. On deck, we have Luther and Thiel. They are followed by bib number 48 and bib 311. That's Campbell, Harris, and Bruneau making up the third heat. Siegel's riding straight lines, but eyes to the right. He just wants to keep track of where his competitor is. He now swung down to the sprinter's lane. Deerdorf will follow his lead, but then reset himself on the hill, trying one more time to make maneuvers behind him. And they're both going to take a run at it down the back straight. Deerdorf tactically trying to set himself up well for an advantageous sprint at that 200-meter line from the second lane. And it'll be Siegel, number 42, going up into the major tournament. We'll see Deerdorf again for the minor tournament. Coming up now on the track, our second heat. Heat 3 should be ready to go. After them on deck, Heat 4 is bib 47 and 13. That's Lowful Holes and Tomko. The Groovy Heat. Yeah, it's my mistake on the call a little bit earlier. Because we have some double dippers, we will have the rest of the Masters also competing here. So it's going to go all Master competitors kind of right in a row here. And then the last competitors in this round will be the elites. In all black on the outside along that rail is number 36, Timothy Luther. 337, Thiel from Team Atomic on the inside position. It's Luther with the faster time out of the flying 200s, but starting to get a little bit closer. They're within a second of each other, if I remember correctly. So both riders riding it pretty tactically here, but it's going to be 337 on that inside position, just controlling the position of Luther all the way around the track now. Both riders trying to get it up to speed down bank 2, as we often do here at our velodrome. The flat part of the back half of the track where most of the action has to happen, and Luther with the big turn of speed is going to just try and drop his competitor, and it looks like he's managed to do so. And the Academy has showed up here. The Flying Gorillas, number 48, is on the outside lane. Keith Bruneau taking on Airtech Racing's rider James Campbell Harris, posted up in lane 1. Getting their start here again. This is The first chance for these riders to race in a match sprint, and these times are getting tighter now. So we're within that second margin of one another in the 200 meters. So it gets a little bit more competitive through the quarter final rounds as the timings get a little bit tighter. That's James Gamble Harris at the lead spot. Keith Bruneau sitting about a bike length behind him. The faster of the two based on the 200 meter times in the second position now. Bruneau dancing behind Campbell Harris, who rides at roughly that blue line, leaving both lanes open. Bruneau taking advantage of that at the moment, but Campbell Harris not wanting to move up or down track yet. He's waiting for the strike. Bruneau's going to try to wind one up from behind, and he has room to run at him now. So Campbell Harris now has the shorter distance and the short lane. Does Bruneau have enough speed to catch? He's on his way. It's going to be the slingshot out of turn 4 to win it if he can get around him. And a good sprint here. It's Bruneau, I think, getting it on the outside. Not by much, though. Starting to tighten up a little bit here. This will be the two closest out of this field in terms of their timings. It's got Hans Lovel's getting himself set to go against Daniel Tomko in the final heat for the Faster Masters. I believe 19 is earning a bye here, which means that on deck is bib 312 and 211. That's Hyun Lee and Nancy Dahlberg. Number 47 is Lons Lovelholz, the rider in white. Our Burnaby Velodrome Club competitor, another BC rider, and our local for the Kenmore Velos Center Cycles team in blue, Mr. Daniel Tomko, in the groovy heat. They have one chance to match up. One will go to the major, one to the minor tournament, and once again, this is the closest matchup in the timings out of the 200, so this will be a pretty critical race for these two riders, both in the way they approach it and the way they finish it. Okay, and here we go. They're staring at that 200-meter line and really thinking about speed. Here we go. Down the back straight, they are starting to really accelerate things. Hans has got the better position. If Tomko can close quickly, he might still be able to challenge him around the corner, but he's got a lot of ground to make up here. Hans from the front, still holding off the charge. Whoa! Tomko flying in fast, didn't have enough time. Could have gotten it if the line was a little bit more over here. Hans Lovelholz will take that one and race again in the major tournament. We'll see more from Tomko, a lot more from Tomko today. He also has an elite matchup he's got to do here in a while. Nancy Dahlberg and Hyun Lee on the track now. Ken Dong and Angel Liano are on deck. Hunley, the rider in white with blue, in the lead position. Nancy Dahlberg leaving some running room behind him. As the bell's ringing, Hune's already cleared some distance here on Nancy, and is, I think, just going to be riding forward for this one. Continuing on with our Masters heats. Right on block, Angel Liano. In lane 2, finding his place. And then next door is Ken Dong for Dyna Racing. On deck, Juan Meja and Kevin Von Hellebeck. We're in our final session for Fred's race this weekend. We don't usually race on a Sunday, but as part of the regional tournament here, we have our cycling championships. Riders going for medals in a variety of events throughout the weekend. And anybody in the Pacific Northwest region is eligible to compete over the weekend. This is our last session of competition. And today we feature the sprinters in a sprint tournament. And I should say many sprint tournaments, as we are running several at the same time. We have categories for elites. We have 2 groups of masters competing, as well as a junior group. And within those, we've split them into 2 tournaments within that. So a total of 8 tournaments running here today. So plenty of riding for those who showed up wanting to compete in a sprint tournament. They get lots of chances to get on the track. And some riders didn't even think that was enough, so they signed up for both elites and masters today. Yeah, maybe an ill-advised move, but still fun. You'll feel tomorrow. It's fine. As the bell's ringing, both riders starting to get up to speed. Angel Liano takes the blue line, just trying to keep it consistent here. Ken Dong starting to move away from him down the sprinter's lane. And Ken Dong, knowing he doesn't need to do any more at this point, he'll ride on into that major tournament. And Angel will get more rides in the minor tournament for the group. Juan Meja, number 415, in the outside position, and inside him, Kevin Van Hellebeck in the yellow and orange kit. The first group in the elites is coming up. Bib 12 and 410 are on deck. It'll be Karlberg and Ulrich coming up in that first heat. The second heat, Bib 42 and 220, Snoblin and Siegel. Our last heat in the quarterfinals for the Masters on track now. Juan Neja along the rail still, and on the inside positioned him as Kevin Van Hellebeck. There's your bell for Van Hellebeck and Meha, who are lined up with Kevin in front. All right, 4-2-4, watching for the move, and here it comes out of turn one. Meha with a good turn of speed coming down the sprinter's lane, starting to pull himself away a bit here. He had the faster time in the flying 200s. Looks like he has the stronger jump out of turn one, and Juan Meha looking to race again in the major final. Andrew Karlberg, number 12 on the outside lane. It's racing for the coefficient of speed, and on the inside, number 410, Kevin Ulrich for the Gene Johnson cycling team. We're now into the elite riders. We have 4 heats for the elites today in this quarterfinal round. And Andrew Karlberg racing up against Kevin Ulrich. As the quarterfinals are designed to be, it goes from lopsided to a little bit closer as you go on. So top seed versus bottom seed in the first heat here. Bell rings for Ulrich and Karlberg. Number 12 takes the lane for a moment. Both riders take the high point of the track. Andrew at the front position now. Kevin leaving lots of room behind. Carlberg here. Several bike lengths between the two. The Carlberg going for the major final, or major tournament, I should call it. Carl will race again in the minor. On the track now, Alex Siegel and Diane Snoblin. Guy McClintock and Carl Prater on deck, followed by Andy Baker and Daniel Tomko. Rider 220, another one of our Burnaby riders coming down from British Columbia, now sitting in the second spot behind Siegel on the lead of this. Now half a lap to go. Siegel with a faster time in the 200s, trying to conserve the energy for later rides at the front, watching for the attack as long as he can. Siegel advancing for the major tournament. Guy McClintock on the inside position, number 46. Next door to him is Carl Pratis, number 49. Also coming down from British Columbia area, number 46. Our BC rider at the front with Carl Pratis, recent returning to the Velodrome here this week for, well, just this sprint tournament. Making a showing here today in the elites. Our BC rider with the faster time out of the flying 200, so Carl's got to dial in something here if he wants to make his way into the major. McClintock still at the front. Lower half of the track. Starting to run at turn 1, forcing McClintock to come up to speed a bit. Paredes just closing the gap, though. Both riders still have a bit more speed to open up here. Down the back straight, watching for what Carl's going to do. And McClintock still guarding the front, just powering it from that front position. Not able to make contact or acceleration over this outside. McClintock rides into the major tournament. We'll see more of Paredes in the minor tournament. Number 13 on the inside position for the Center Cycles crew. That's Tomko back again for more. And along the rail, we got Andy Baker. Number 4, Andy Birthday Boy Baker. I know. There it is. Quick first lap here. Baker makes it pretty quick along the rail, and I think from the looks of it, number 13 is just trying to match and keep just in front of his tempo so that they can stay side by side as they come into the sprint, which is exactly how they play it out. And Baker comes to the front. Tomko double dipping today. Can he get enough jump out of this to get back up in time? It looks like Baker still has the speed advantage onto the home straight. Baker finds the major tournament, and we'll see more from Tomko in the minor tournament for the elites. This is Scoville and Monmeat. Number 423 is Monmeat in the back spot, and in front of him, Danny Scoville, number 10. We now move into the semi-final rounds. It's for the juniors to decide whether they will race into a gold medal or a bronze medal, essentially, set of best of 3. All right, so again, these are some of our upper riders in the junior group. They're trying to sort out which part of this tournament they're going to be in. Will they be either racing for the top 2 spots or not? First rider across the line has a chance at the overall top spot in the junior group here today. Both of these riders on their way to that major tournament have an opportunity for top 4 overall. Scoville still in the lead spot, number 10. About 1 bike length, maybe a bike and a half behind, as Monmeat leaves just a bit of room to try to run at that wheel. Maybe do a sneak attack here as they hit the hill. Nothing coming yet. It'll be the lead rider to start it off. Scoville's got good distance here on Monmeat, so now it's going to be a big ask as he lets her get up to speed faster and gives him the hard challenge of no draft and lots of room to make up. Scoville from the front advances to the gold-silver ride. On deck is Bella and Lucy, followed by Milla and Logan. Currently on track, Merrick Gallagher is on the outside position. Both riders of the Jerry Baker Juniors kits and red helmets. It's Henry Armstrong in the inside position, number 456. Scoville recently advancing for that ride to the gold and silver medal with one of these riders to join in on that. We'll see which of the two. From this side of the track, you can keep track of who's who. Merrick Gallagher with the disc wheel. Henry Armstrong on the outside position now along the rail. Similar position all the way around this half lap as Gallagher stays between our rider along the rail here and that lane to the sprinter's lane. Not available for Henry yet unless he were to back up a little bit. Now they find themselves a little bit more spread out as they hit the middle of the turn. Rounding the bank, both riders getting up to speed. Shorter lane and shorter distance goes to Gallagher, but that puts Henry into the slipstream nicely. Does he have enough turn of speed here? He's still holding on to the draft and trying to find that extra turn coming around the corner. Merrick from the front, still Merrick. It looks like Gallagher will be riding for the gold medal against Scoville. Even though it's not the way that works. They both just got a gold medal. That's how that works. But that's okay. They still get the sprint. We'll have fun with it. They are in two different groups when it comes to the podiums. So good on them. And early congratulations to Scoville and Merrick for gold medal. And now it's just a best of 3 for fun. All right, coming up next, we've got 2 more heats here for the juniors. 202 Bella down in the lower part of the track. And the whistle sounded, number 22, Lucy Gilchrist, up along the rail. It's for the minor tournament half of this group. This would be the gold silver round. Try to see who can race for that sort of part in the tournament, which would end up being, if you're top of this tournament, overall 5th in the junior category would be a way to look at that. First, you got to win in this matchup to make it into that part of the race. Bell in the inside position. Starting to accelerate a bit alongside Lucy. Trying to pin her against the rail for a little bit longer. Both riders likely to use the hill here as they're getting up to speed. And there's Lucy trying to get up out of the saddle, and a nice acceleration for her down the back straight as she tries to drop Bella in the move into turn 3. And that was Lucy coming across the line first. We'll see her for the minor tournament top ride, which would be the 5th overall for the juniors. That's what she'll be chasing after. And here's one more for the juniors before we get into the Faster Masters. I believe it's Siegel and Lovelholes on deck, followed by Timothy Luther and Keith Bruneau. Getting up to speed, our two riders on track is Mill and Logan. Nice acceleration here as they hit the bank out of turn 2, and Logan with a great turn of speed, trying to drop Milla. Very similar to what we saw in the last race. Looks like that play is going to work out well here for the rider in white. So Logan will also be chasing that 5th overall place in the juniors, the top half of this group. All right, I believe this brings up Siegel and Lovelholes now for their matchup. Siegel and Lovelholes. They are done. One clarifier is that for the final round, we're going to have the minor tournament go before the major tournament, but for this round, the officials would like to do the faster finishers first. So it's still in the same order. Then we'll flip it into it's confusing. There's a lot of groups going on. On track right now, it's Alex Siegel, number 42 in the outside lane along the rail, and number 47, Hans Lovelholes in the white and black. We're now into the Faster Masters category with our semifinal round. Fastest rider here will advance for a ride for the gold and silver. The slower of the two will be racing for the bronze during the final round. I was just told that the rides for 5th through 8th place will be best of 1s instead of best of 3s. So Siegel at the front, swings up a little bit as Lovelholz swings way up to the rail. Lots of maneuverability here, trying to keep him on his toes in a reactionary sort of pose here. As Lovelholz now takes the rail and they find themselves in a familiar side-by-side as they hit turn 1. The head jive of Lovelholz is trying to get a reaction out of Siegel and force unnecessary effort. It ends up being a fairly standard move down the sprinter's lane as they come out of turn 2 with Lovelholz in the second spot. Siegel just has to control from the front and looks like he's able to do so. It'll be Siegel riding in for the gold and silver ride. We'll see more from Lovelholz riding for the bronze medal out of this Faster Master category. On deck, we got Teal and Campbell Harris. They're followed by Deerdorf and Tomko. .36, McClintock in the front spot, the rider, the black kit, the white helmet. Excuse me, Luther. I got my names right. With Keith Renault on the wheel for the Flying Gorilla team. And this is, again, we're still in the midst of the semifinals. Luther with still in the controlling spot here, waiting for the attack underneath from behind to come at any time. Be a pretty early move if it were to happen now. They cross the line in familiar fashion. Second rider still waiting. Luther's going to start to crawl his way downhill a little bit here. Powering the bike up and down into the flat. And Bruno now has to just force the reaction and see if he can get back into that wheel. The faster time of the 200s to the rider in front. I think he's going to be able to apply that speed here, and it looks like he'll hold on. Luther from the front. Next heat coming up, we've got Campbell Harris and James Thiel coming up. To James, the battle of the James in this heat. And on deck is Chris Deerdorf, Daniel Tomko. We'll continue with more master racing. So the next heat after that, I believe, would be Waterman and Meha. That's 2 heats down from where we are now. Within the Faster Masters category, we're looking at the ride to sort out for 5th place here. The winner would be racing for 5th later on in the final round. The other rider will go to race for 7th and 8th place. In the Faster Master category, which in the grand scheme of things, just to keep things even more confusing, the other Masters, I think it starts at, the fastest of that group would be overall 9th. Our two riders closing in on each other here as we hit the hill, and a little bit of acceleration along the rail. Campbell Harris now finds himself in the second spot. Teal taking the lead and starting to roll away with it. Not quite on top of the bike yet, as James is still making some work. Acceleration on it. James Teal from the front, though, will be our winner, and will be going on to race for 5th in the overall race. Here comes our last heat for the Faster Masters in the semifinal. Chris Deerdorf along the rail, number 335, against Tomko, number 13. Winning this race means you're racing for 5th in the final round. After this, we'll get to the elites. Excuse me, not quite yet. I'm ahead of myself. We're getting close. So Waterman and Meha, I think, are on deck here, followed by Hyun Lee and Ken Dong. Tomko leading the lap at the moment. Lower part of the track, watching both lanes now as he takes over the middle. Back down the sprinter's lane. 13's using all the track lines here. Drawing figure eights for us, trying to drag along the Bryhop rider behind him. Portland area team, the rider in red, coming up to race here today in Fred's race. Ooh, side by side, Bryhop takes the lane. Tomko's got to recover quickly. Time's running out for the rider in blue, as now Deerdorf's got a good position. Tomko with the second attack around the outside. Able to recover. 13 takes that one. Swan Meha comes out for his bike on the second lane. Waterman, number 19, along the rail. Still in the semifinal round. This is now for our Masters group in the major tournament half of it. So the top 4 in this group of 8. Their first heat, the second heat ready to start here after them, with Juan Meha on track in the front spot and Eric Waterman, the second rider. The winner here moves on to the race for this group's gold and silver medal ride. Waterman controlling the sprinter's lane. Liano maneuvering above him, trying to decide where to be, either aside or behind him, as the speed now starting to accelerate onto the back straight. Waterman will take that one and race later for the gold and silver medal. And here comes our second heat now with Hyun Lee and Ken Dong. And their first ever matchup at the track is Hyun Lee on the outside and Ken Dong next door. An all too familiar matchup, these two. Two are locals going head to head as they have many times before. One for Dyna Racing, that's Ken Dong on the inside position, number 302. Next door to him, riding for that Broadmark Realty Capital team in the white and blue, Hyun Lee. Faster rider gets to compete for the gold medal in this group of masters. On deck, I think we have our 3-up heat. After that 3-up heat is concluded, we will be moving into the elites. The first heat in that elites group looks to be Andrew Carlberg and Andy Baker. Ken Dong at the front. Pretty close times in the 400 meters for these two. They've very familiar with each other in terms of riding style and approach. And good speed from Hyun Lee from the back position. He takes the front. Hyun now has the lead over Ken as they ride around to the front. It looks like the Broadmark rider. As Hyun Lee will take this one. These three riders are the only group today doing this 3-up. We did have an odd number of registrants in the Masters we were one short to do 2 full groups of 8. So we had to have one group on odd out. So here we are. We have our 3-up group. Angel Liano in the black jersey at the front with the rear disc wheel. We got Kevin Van Hellebeck in the yellow and orange. Nancy Dahlberg riding the red bike in the rear position currently. And those three are going to be matched up against each other for the remainder of their competition today. Angels are getting some encouragement from the infield as he has been given some running room. Lots of a gap here between him and Van Hellebeck, who's starting to close it down now. Response coming from Dahlberg as well, as it looks like it's going to be Van Hellebeck making gains on the back straight towards the back wheel. Might be able to catch in the middle of the turn here as Liana still has the lead spot. But Van Hellebeck's got a good acceleration and has found him. Trying to come around the outside onto the home straight. Ooh, in their first matchup, looks like Van Hellebeck will figure this one out. This is Baker and Carlberg coming to the line. On deck is Siegel and McClintock. First rider across the line will be racing in the gold and silver race during the final round. Andy Baker, number 4, in the white and blue for the Broadmark Realty Capital team. And it's number 12, Coefficient of Speed, in the blue, Andrew Carlberg. Baker's going to try and do what he thinks he needs to do here. Not a bad move. Make this race long. Carlberg's got to get on the wheel quickly. Although Baker will abandon, so just forcing the acceleration. Maybe Carlberg will stay with that tempo. Baker says, I'll try to find your wheel then. Carlberg now comes up. They trade blows up and down the track. Carlberg maneuvering back towards the sprinter's lane. Knows he needs a little bit more room. Now he'll take the front and try to keep Baker on the rear wheel for a bit longer as they round the corners. Looks like Baker's figured out this one's not going to work. Coefficient of Speed moving on to the gold and silver ride with Carlberg in a great race between the two. At least made it fun to watch. I like that. Siegel, McClintock coming up to the line now. On deck, I believe we should have Kevin Ulrich and Dana Tomko. They're followed by Diane Snowblin and Carl Pratis. British Columbia rider number 46, McClintock on the inside position. Our local competitor, number 42, Alex Siegel on the outside. Fastest rider here will join Carlberg in the race for gold and silver. Based on 200-meter times, advantage goes to the rider in white and blue. Our second fastest time coming out of the 200-meter time, and that's why he's seated second overall into the tournament. Carlberg, the other to advance previously, the fastest time today. So the overall number 1 seed going to the final round to race for gold and silver. 46 still the lead spot here in the sprinters lane all across the home straight. Both riders move up track. Siegel making the run at the wheel now as McClintock has the shorter lane. Siegel still got his work cut out for him as they come around the corner with McClintock in the shorter line. Side by side in the long sprint here. McClintock and Siegel. McClintock, it'll be the rider on the inside, number 46. Advancing to race to the gold and silver. On deck, Dan Snoblin and Carl Pratis. .410 is Kevin Ulrich, riding for the Gene Johnson cycling team. Center Cycles bringing out Tomko again. Pretty quick first lap. Ulrich's keeping the tempo at the front pretty consistently as Tomko sticking to the wheel nicely. The rider in the dark blue kit. Our double dipper today, racing both in the Masters and Elites. This are semifinal rounds for the Elite riders. The fastest rider in this group will be racing for 5th place in the final round. Ulrich and Tomko rounding the corner with Tomko making the acceleration I think he'll need. He'll find it. So Tomko will race again in the Elites for 5th overall. Looking for Snoblin and Pratis now. This should bring us back to juniors here, I believe, coming up after this. It's Carl Pratis on track next door to Diane Snoblin. The rider in white with blue is Carl Pratis, the rider on the rail, Diane Snoblin, British Columbia competitor coming down to compete this weekend. all-around strong rider. Doing well in the elite women's field throughout Fred's race, including winning the International Omnium last night and trying to place herself into a potential race for 5th here in the elites today for the sprint tournament. Prade's one of our younger competitors, but been away for college. Not much time this season on the bike. Seeing what he can do today in this sprint tournament. Prade's alongside Snoblin. Prade's, whoa, close, but I think it was the rider on the inside. All right, we are about ready to start our final round here. The finals rounds is best of 3 for the gold, silver, bronze medal rides. It's a best of 1 for the ride for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Bella and Milla, the ride of the sisters here, going head to head. On deck is Gilchrist and Lee.
Check it. Hey, check it. Put the place up.
Both of the Jerry Baker Juniors, the sisters here side by side. Bell's ringing for one to go. It's Milla controlling the inside position at the blue line. And 202, Bella will take the head-to-head match in their last race today for the sprint tournament. And the race for 5th place, Lucy Gilchrist comes up in lane 1 for the Jerry Baker Juniors team, and right from Broadmark Realty Capital in the white and blue, we've got Logan Lee in lane 2. The best of 3 rides coming up next. The bronze medal race between Monmeat and Henry is on deck. They're followed by Danny and Merrick. The race for gold and silver in today's sprint tournament for the juniors. you're just riding through the park and checking out what we're doing here, we are a racing facility that operates generally every single Friday night for our big race event. Very rarely we open on a Sunday for racing. Usually the track's kind of open at this time, or there's maybe an adult class going on. But you can learn more about this facility and its schedule. The racing programs happen here by visiting velodrome.org, where you can just check out what's going on the track in case you want to find a time to come by and watch some racing. Again, the best time to check us out on the week is Friday night at 7 o'clock. Friday night racing, as long as the weather is holding up. We'll have more racing going on here. This is Fred's Race. We've got our regional track cycling championships for the Pacific Northwest going on right here. And these juniors are on their final race in the sprint tournament, as they've made it to the point where they're now racing for 5th and 6th overall in the juniors. Lucy Gilchrist makes the first move, and Logan having to respond. He's closing the gap down and starting to climb that hill. Might be Logan's acceleration around the turn that'll get it when he needs. They're going side by side. Oh, just enough. Logan finds it by a bike. Monmeat coming up to the track on the outside position. Monmeat Ranu. Oh, inside lane. I take it back. As Henry goes flying around the outside. Two riders for the Jared Baker Junior squad getting lined up for their best of 3, the first ride in the finals for the bronze medal. The Faster Masters category ride for 7th and 8th is coming up pretty quick as well. Those riders, Campbell Harris and Chris Deerdorf, were set to go after the juniors wrap it up. In this first ride for the bronze medal, it's Monmeat in the sprinter's lane. Henry finding that rear wheel, still holding on pretty well as they hit the back straight. If Henry can stay on the pace and maybe close that gap down just a little bit more, he gets the benefit of all that work that Monmeat's doing in the draft, but unfortunately not finding the acceleration he needs yet. Four, 2-3 finds the win in the first matchup. In this best of 3 format, we get to see these matchups at least 2 times. And here comes the ride for gold and silver. It's Danny Scoville. I know. Well, actually, it's not. You already got your gold. That happened when you got into this race. But yes, from the tournament standpoint, this is the gold and silver ride. From the podium standpoint, it's moot. They're learning. And which gold is better? You know, like, we got to find out. Which one's made of more pure gold? It's number 10, Danny Scoville on the outside, reminding us these 2 riders aren't in the same category, and they're at the top of their respective categories already, just by being in this ride. But they're going to still do a best of 3. Good experience, as we have a lot of riders planning to make their way over to nationals, and I look over at Coach to confirm. I bet both of these 2 are thinking nationals. I know Danny is. Merrick too. Sprints as well. So this is great prep for national competition for our young riders. They need a lot of these opportunities, just like all sprinters do. We don't get to do full sprint tournaments very often, so we take advantage of them when we got them. Merrick Gallagher on the lead of the lap right now, with Danny Scoville keeping it close. They're still in their first lap. Riding like a 2-match sprint. Talking about getting good practice, the slow speed of the sprint here. So a lot of patience from the two juniors after they get the bell. Hardly a sign of acceleration from either, as they're actually spending a fair amount of energy just going this slow. A lot of back pressure and balance being put to play here as both riders work their way towards the rail. Gallagher decides now's the time. He holds Danny up for a second, actually. A nice move there, close, cutting that wheel. And we'll use the hill to get up to top speed, trying to leave a ton of room now between him and his competitor. And the race for the double gold keeps on going. Gallagher will take the first ride. Danny and Merrick will come back again for some more racing later on. Campbell Harris and Chris Deerdorf coming up right now. James will take lane 2 on the outside. Bryhop bringing out number 335. Chris Deerdorf, a one-and-done race for 7th. On deck, James Thiel and Daniel Tomko in the race for 5th. And again, this is a one-and-done ride for these two riders. Rider in the neon green for Airtech Racing, sitting in the back's position just by a little bit, moving up towards the rail, James Campbell Harris. In the black and red, Chris Deerdorf, watching over that right shoulder. He knows where James is at, just making sure he stays in his place. Deerdorf for the acceleration, down towards the sprinter's lane on the back half of the track. Campbell Harris has found the wheel, though. He still has an opportunity to bring this side by side, so we'll have a sprint. Can he get the acceleration needed? Trying to challenge. Ooh, whoa. One of the closest finishes today. My eye tells me it's the rider in black and red. The unofficial call. Yep, it'll be the rider in the sprinter's lane, so Deerdorf by a bit. A nice ride for those two. Right down to the line. Deal and Tomko now coming up to the line for their matchup for 5th, this one-and-done race. The bronze medal ride on deck between Lofoholz and Brno. Right for Team Atomic, James Thiel is number 337. More in the sprinter's lane position right now. Right next door to his competitor, Tomko. In this competition for 5th place in this group. Only one ride to determine it. One to go now. 13's trying to edge forward just a little bit. Now on the back straight, Tomko starting to take the lead spot now as he gets a bike length out in front and continues to pull away. It looks like Tomko has found the speed he needs on the back half of this lap. Yes, I do. We should be looking for Loeffel Holes and Bruno for the bronze medal, followed by the gold and silver ride between Siegel and Luther. This is our first matchup in the best of 3 for the bronze medal first. Bruno, number 48, is in lane 1 in the black and blue. The rider in white, Hans Loeffel Holes. British Columbia competitors coming down this weekend to compete here in the sprint tournament. Matched up head-to-head for the race for bronze. Bruno has edged forward a little bit in the positioning ahead of Loeffel Holes. Familiar types of movements as we saw him in the last matchup as Hans using that second position to duck and dive and weave around behind, trying to force either a reaction or a reposition. Down and up and over goes Loeffel Holes here in their first matchup, trying to drop Bruno now onto the home straight. Can he get the speed around the outside? He's got the longer lane. Bruno reaccelerating. Oh, Bruno on the inside, 48, takes the first ride. And for the Faster Masters race for gold and silver, we got number 42 in the champion's color jersey. That's Alex Siegel taking on the rider in the black with the white helmet, Timothy Luther, in their first matchup in what could be 3 rides, a best of 3 format for the medals today. Luther leading a quick lap here. Wants to be ready and already on top of those gears early on in this sprint. So hitting turn 2. Up and out of the saddle, really trying to fully engage. Siegel's got himself glued on pretty well. Just has to find a bit more turn of speed here around the turn. Alex racing it both in the elites and the masters today. Siegel finds that extra bit of whip there out of turn 4. And we'll take the ride. Here comes our group of 3. Yeah, the full Masters tournament, this would be 13th place on the line. I believe if Von Hallebeck grabs this, we might be able to conclude this competition for these 3, as he did win the first matchup. We'll see how that goes. When your priority is making sure everybody gets to race as much as possible, sometimes like making sense is less of a priority. Or having a clear list of like, this is how this race is going to go. Not as critical as just like, get the people out there on the bikes, just race the darn thing. Nancy Dahlberg wants to go for a longer race here. She started up pretty quick and Angel said no. So it's Kevin Von Hallebeck on the wheel of Nancy Dahlberg getting the one to go. And Van Hallebeck makes the move around in turn 4. Takes 2 for this group. Nancy gets 2nd overall, so she'll change up her finishing order from the first race. This should put, I think it's Ken and Juan coming up next for the bronze medal ride. They're followed by the gold medal between Eric and Hyun. Our two athletes here going in a best of three format for the bronze medal in their group. And if anybody thinks I'm going to, while we're in the middle of this tournament, announce the actual medal orders of the podiums based on age groups, you think far too high of me. For those keeping track at home, for the group of 15 Masters that showed up, this would be the race for 11th place, still run as a best of three. Within the group of 8, the Masters overall category, this is sort of the bronze medal ride in that sort of subcategory of races. We're really trying to confuse everybody at home. I mean, I can't believe I'm not confused. It's a lot going on here. Eric Waterman, the rider, Ken Dong, the rider in pink. Eric's coming up here shortly. Is at the front, watching over the shoulder for where Juan's at on the track. He's closed it in, waiting in second wheel spot. Ken moving up track, giving him lots of room. Maybe he wants the back wheel now. Riders get the bell, coming around onto turn 2. Both riders starting to get themselves up to full speed. Ken trying to make a run at it on the back straight. Has good momentum, hitting the 200-meter line. And we'll try to carry that through the turn as he looks around and sees he's starting to drop his competitor pretty quickly. Lee in number 312 in lane 2. Number 19, Eric Waterman on the inside position in the middle of the track. In a best of 3 format, which would be for the 9th place in the overall Masters placing, not taking age category into consideration. Within their subcategory of Masters, we're racing this kind of like it's the gold and silver medal ride of a sprint tournament. Waterman guard dogging at the front of that sprinter's lane. Both riders occupying the space. Hyun on the second wheel spot does come up and around. Waterman spots him. Hyun Lee with a big jump. Enough so to start separating himself. The rider with the faster time in the 200 meters being bested here by the timing of Hyun on the back straight. Big turn of gears there for number 312, and they'll race again. This is Ulrich and Snoblin coming up to the line. And on deck is Tomko and Pratis. There's a lot of sheets for me to juggle through to get these heats. My apologies for not the earlier call there. The big sprint tournament. Lots of things to pay attention to. We now move into the elites. During this final round, these rides are best of ones. One chance to sort out what this would be 7th and 8th place overall within the elites. As it's Kevin Ulrich, number 410, takes lane 1. And Diane Snoblin, 220 in lane 2. Snoblin in the rail position right now with Kevin Ulrich to the left and behind. Working on their way to hear the bell. Well, we're trying to maintain a position here, pinning up against the rail again, and seeing right now it's working pretty well as both riders feel like they're slowing off their pace and preparing for a jump down this hill. All things considered equal, the inside position has advantage in this situation. Snoblin forced on the outside, but gets up to speed a little quicker than Ulrich and might be able to overtake on position. She is down the sprinter's lane now, and it's Ulrich on the wheel. Looks like Dan Snoblin on her way will get this one. Tomko and Pratis, come on down. On deck after these two riders, the bronze medal ride. I think that's Baker and Siegel. And then we'll have our gold medal ride after that. Very good. And that's before we start back at the top of the whole thing all over again, although we're only going to be riding the quote-unquote gold and bronze medal rides, as those are best of threes. This is the ride for 5th place in the elites today. Carl Pratis, number 49, in the white and blue. In the dark blue for the center cycles, number 13, Daniel Tomko. Both riders coming into this race with their own reasons to feel a little sore Pratis has been away from the bike for a while. Tomko's double dipping today, so he's been racing twice as much as many of the riders here. Oh, an up and down move gives Carl Pratis a nice opportunity to snatch up the lead spot. Tomko, though, is quickly onto the wheel and fast enough to re-accelerate himself. Pratis starting to show a little bit of wear and tear here as Tomko's still fresh and ready to go. Nice move out of turn 3 for Tomko as he drops his competitor, and we'll take this one 5th place overall in the elites. Bronze medal ride to the line, please. After the elite bronze medal ride, we go to the elite gold and silver, and after that, we're going to go back to the juniors for their bronze medal ride, round 2. Barback Realty Capital Team head-to-head matchup here. Siegel and Baker in their first ride for the bronze medal in the elites category in a best-of-3 format. The number 2 seed finding himself here in this ride, Siegel. So the quicker in the 200-meter times, number 42, with a pure speed advantage from that test earlier today. And Andy Baker knows it, so he's making a pretty early jump here. Oh, it's a big one. I think Siegel doesn't want to race that. He says no, thank you. Baker's already lost him. I don't know if that was Alex Siegel's odd way of giving a birthday present, or... Well, there you go. Dun, 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 dun. With the bike throw to the camera. We check it. All right. Siegel is the other of our double dippers today. He's also racing in the Masters, so I think he said that's not a race I want to do. And our final heat in the first round for the finals, it's Guy McClintock, number 46, for the Flying Gorilla Academy team out of British Columbia. Competing the local speedster Andrew Carlberg, number 12, for the coefficient of speed. Gold and silver medal on the line for this matchup. I think McClintock coming into this one as a number 3 or 4 seed, if I remember where he was in this thing, based on the flying 200 times. Carlberg, the number 1 seed. One to go. McClintock swinging high. Carlberg doing pretty familiar positioning here. He knows he's got top speed to play. He just wants to control that front position and use only as much effort as he needs to. Wait to see if he gets challenged around the outside. He's holding on through the sprint here down to on the home straight. Oh, number 12 should have that one. Coming back up to the top of the formats here for everyone are rides for the quote-unquote gold, silver, and bronze medals. Again, depending on age categories and whatnot, that will not totally connect. It's not a one-to-one, but this ride here, we do know that Monmeat picked up the first matchup, and he's going to try to go pick up one more. That'll end this ride, and he'll be the overall 3rd place in the juniors today. Or will be Henry Armstrong, number 456, trying to force it to a 3rd ride. Monmeat is 4-2-3, the rider along the rail, picked up the win the first time. Double down and he gets it done now. Or again, if Henry can find it, they'll be forced into round 3 for a 3rd ride. The attack coming here. Monmeat roll up to speed a little quicker on the outside line. Trying to bring it down the sprinter's lane at 400 meters to go. A long distance sprint for the juniors here. Might give Henry a second chance. It's such a long sprint for Monmeat at the front. But that gap is not doing Henry any favors. Closed it down a little bit here. But it'll be Monmeat going back to back. And we'll give him the 3rd overall for the juniors. And here comes the ride for 1st and 2nd place overall in the juniors today. The gold and gold. Ah, victory laps. I get it. Yes, as the medals go. We can say that last ride technically was, usually that we think of that as the bronze medal ride, but from the podium standpoint, you just saw Monmeat clinch silver medal for the junior boys and Henry Armstrong in the bronze medal. Can't talk much about this heat yet, so let's talk about our current ride on the track. This is the final round, their second round in the finals. It's Merrick Gallagher in the red helmet having taken round one. Danny Scoville must find a win here, or darn it, she's going to have to go to the podium for a gold medal. I mean, wait. If she wins this, then we force a third ride. Again, it's all for good practice and training, so of course, and for the pride, right? Our riders are out here to win. Regardless, they want to do their best. Scoville's got good position. Doesn't let Merrick get away so far this time, so now Merrick does the work at the front. Danny's in the slipstream here. Finding nice turn of speed. Gallagher's got the front, just wants to hold on. Scoville's accelerating. A much better race than the first time. It's closer. Scoville running at it. Great race for the two juniors. That'll do it for these two, as it'll be Merrick in the gold for the junior boys. Danny Scoville goes second overall, but we'll pick up the gold for the junior girls in a great race from those two. Both looking to race some more sprints at nationals, I was told, in the junior nationals over at T-Town, so it'll be fun to watch and cheer those racers on. Raiders. I'm not a Raiders fan. Later on the season. All right, calling now Hans to the line to report in. We have a non-reporting it thanks to some personal injury there, so congrats to Hans for taking that one. Got the first ride in, then by default takes that one as well. Now the gold and silver for the Faster Masters racers here coming up. It's Timothy Luther reporting in against Alex Siegel in their second ride. It is Alex Siegel who is at the lead of this race, number 42, and behind him Timothy Luther, 36. Siegel took round one and looks to take round two to close the race out at the top of the Masters competition. If Luther finds the win, it'll force the third round. Again, it's your rider on the inside position. Took round one. It was pretty close, though. Luther had some great speed on it. This is not a done deal here. Siegel with the quicker 200-meter time in the Masters group. So our number one seed now finds himself being attacked over the top, trying to hold on to the front position in the sprinter's lane. He keeps it. Luther alongside of him. Both riders going the long distance here and well-matched speed-wise. Now the shorter lane will have an advantage in the turn. Luther has to find the slipstream and try to re-accelerate himself in the draft. Can he do so? Looks like Siegel will hold on. Alex Siegel will take that second ride in a row and close that matchup down. Now for the bronze medal ride, the race for 11th overall in the Masters. In their second race, it's Ken trying to get a second win and close it down. The rider in black and pink looking to try to win 2 in a row, and then that'll be it for these 2 riders, as he would end up in 11th overall in the Masters competition today. If Juan, the rider in front, can find it, they'll force that round 3 ride to settle the best of 3. If you're coming into the park to check out what's going on today, I see a few of you coming up onto turn 1. This is the final session of racing for Fred's race, the Fred C. Rayburger Memorial Track Cycling Championships at the Velodrome. Fred's race is a celebration of all of our great riders in the whole region, really. This is supposed to invite riders from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, riders from British Columbia that can come down and compete. It's the PNW is all here to compete for medals and top honors in a variety of different events. This session is focused entirely on match sprints. So we've already worked our way through the qualifiers, several rounds of this tournament, including the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and now we're into round 2 of the finals. All that's left for many of these riders is one ride, as if any of the riders get their second win in this round, that'll retire the race and we'll call it there. If the riders trade blows, of course, we have a 3rd ride ready to go, then we'll do the 3rd round to sort it out. And there, as the bells ring in, both riders starting to pick up the pace a little bit. This is a sprint. Why is it so slow, you ask? Well, if both racers just go to top speed right away, it's such a long distance, whoever's in second wheel will most likely win, because the rider at front's got to do so much work for so long, pulling the other rider around. So timing it to the last 200 meters or so is pretty typical on our big track. So on the end of the second lap is where most of the speed comes from. And I think Ken Dong today's just got a bit more power on the track this afternoon, has found a way to pick it up 2 in a row, and our rider from Dyna Racing picks up the victory here in the matchup. Those 2 riders are done for today. Hyun Lee and Eric Waterman coming back up to the track. It's Hyun who found the win in the first round, the rider from Broadmark in the white and blue. The rider for Dyna Racing trying to figure out a way to best Hyun in this round to force a 3rd ride, or it'll be Hyun's race, and it'll be all over there. On deck will be the race between Siegel and Baker. I think it's going to be their first round of racing, because whatever happened before wasn't a race, so it didn't count for anything. Just kidding. Round 2 for them. And on deck is, after that, would be the gold and silver ride for the elites. The rider in white and blue took the victory last time, so the rider at the front position is trying to get his 2nd win in a row. And that would end the race in his favor. He'd be 9th overall in the big Masters group. We had 15 show up today, so we had to sort of split things up a little bit so that we had good competition for all the riders and plenty of chances for them to race. In a typical format, you would eliminate down just to the top 4 before you get to your best of 3 rounds. We wanted to keep everybody around for some more sprinting today. And really trying to change things up. Waterman did not like the way it went last time, so a crafty move out of turn 4. The big move here, Hyun's got to close it down. He's got great speed on the home straight. If he can get to the wheel, Waterman will just be doing the work for Hyun, but Hyun's making his way up there quickly. Whoa. Hyun's got the sprint figured out today. That's some great speed for the rider for Broadmark as he closes the gap and comes around the corner, and here he is on the home straight, and you'll grab this one, and that's the end of that matchup between these two great racers. We need 4 more minutes rest time officially for Siegel, unless you're forfeiting that. I mean, oh, we're trying to help you out. Do you not want it? Okay, he's going. We're just respecting, you know, you. It's cool. I love it. I mean, yeah, sounds good to me. I was going to make another jab about the first round in this matchup, but I won't. McClintock and Carlberg on deck for the gold and silver in their second round. So far, I don't have any round 3 rides. And Andy Baker hasn't attacked yet. Rider number 4 won the first matchup. Number 42 basically watched him ride. We'll see how they race this second round, though, as it's Alex Siegel's attempt here to try to get back in this thing and force maybe a round 3 for these two riders. He's also double dipping and racing in the Masters, where he picked up top place in the Master competition. 42 did. So he might be satisfied with that, maybe just having some fun here with Baker, who is racing for now what would be 3rd place overall in the elite category between he and Siegel. Baker still at the front with Alex dipping around behind him. One to go. Baker bringing it up to speed around turn 1 now. Siegel starting to bring the gears up into full speed down the back straight. Needs a little bit more push to get onto the rear wheel of Baker, who seems to be crawling his way away from him now. Yeah, and I think he's going to let this one go, as Baker just seems a bit too quick around the back straight. Baker picks this one up. And finally, we've got the ride between McClintock and Carlberg. Coefficient of speed will try to grab 2 in a row and would end the competition right then and there. If McClintock finds it, we'll be forced to a round 3 ride. And that would be the only one so far. So I think everybody else is all finished up. It's rider 46 trying to find this second round victory to force the 3rd round. It's number 12 that would conclude the race with a win here. Gold and silver ride for the elites on the line. Withstanding a victory here for number 46 in this heat. All we have left is podiums to present for our sprinters today. And then some wrap up around here. I think some jubilation in field for Mr. Andy Baker's birthday celebrations. And also a day off tomorrow, as track racing on Monday is being canceled a day early. I think the subtext on Monday night schedule for tomorrow should have said hopeful or wishful thinking, something along that lines. Pretty much half of that schedule just raced a whole weekend, and all the staff and everybody, it's exhausting and also rewarding to put these events on. So we'll take tomorrow off and be back with some more racing later in the week. Wednesday night racing still on, as well as, of course, exciting Friday night racing, which is just getting better and better all season long. We now look forward to the Vision Grand Prix as kind of the next big event here at the track, August 12th and 13th. Looking forward to a really great race on that weekend. It's McClintock at the front of this one. This could be the last race today and of all Fred's race 2022, as McClintock takes it down the back straight. Carlberg's got the longer lane. This is the opposite order they were in the first matchup, so now Carlberg has to come out and around. Our record holder in the flying 200 meter has great top speed, and he's able to put it on display here again, as it looks like Carlberg from around in the second lane spot should be able to grab it. And that'll do it, folks. Our last heat of racing today. The final is now wrapped up for every one of our groups. We'll get things sorted out for podium presentations in just a little bit. But that's doing it for racing. Thanks for joining us. If you're out here on the outside cheering on the riders, we'll be hanging out for a little bit. As I said, we've got some cleanup to do and some celebrations on the infield. We'll keep the camera here pointed at the podium so that as we present those, if you want to tune in and celebrate riders getting celebrated here on the stream, you can do so. My thanks to everybody for helping make this possible. I've got great help on every side up here on the booth, including my team. Nick has been here all weekend. He always is the big help behind the camera, so big thanks to him. Eric, our race night manager, has been here all weekend doing a great job. Thank you to Eric for the hard work he does. Our officials, and of course, Amara for being at the heart of organizing the entire thing. Thank you for all your hard work. We'll take a little bit here off the microphone. I'll get things sorted out. I'll do my sign off now, as many of you will probably be tuning out and heading out for other things before the podium start. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy hosting you here for all the action for Freds, and I look forward to more great racing here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome. All right, I think I'm ready for doing some podiums here. And we're going to begin with the juniors from the sprint tournament. Stand by for the podiums here. Wave pizza party. You're on TV. All right. For our junior women in today's sprint tournament, let's get those three over there. Our top three in the junior sprint tourney for the junior women. In third place, your bronze medalist is Bella Mejia. In second place, the silver medalist, Lucy Gilchrist. And your gold medalist for the J. Baker Junior squad, Danny Scoville. For the junior men, in third place, your bronze medalist, Henry Armstrong. Silver medalist, the second place rider today, Manmeet Ranu. And your champion, the gold medalist, also for the J. Baker Juniors team, it's Merrick Gallagher. So for the Masters, I'm just going to be really blunt. There's one age group that has more than 3 people in it, and that's the 50 through 54. Every single Master, except for that one person in the 50 to 54, is getting a medal. So Masters, get over here and get ready, because I'm just going to go through it as quick as I can. I'm just going to go age category and try to get through it all. Starting with 35 through 39. Your Masters champion in the sprint tournament overall and for 35 through 39 age category, Alex Siegel. For the 40 to 44 men in this match sprint tournament, your gold medalist, Juan Mejia. For the 45 to 49 category, your gold medalist, Daniel Tomko. The 50 through 54, here we got a full podium. Your bronze medalist, Chris Deerdorf. The silver medalist, Hans Lovelholz. And your champion, Tim Luther. And we got another full podium here for 55 to 59 competitors. In third place, your bronze medalist, Ken Dong. The silver medal, Eric Waterman. And in the gold medal, your champion for the group, Keith Bruneau. '60 through 64 women, your champion, Nancy Dahlberg. And also in the 60 to 64 for your match sprint men tournament, your gold medalist, Angel Liano. And 65 through 69 men, your silver medalist, Kevin Von Hellebeck. And in the gold medal, James Steele. Unless I messed up somewhere along the line, I think that'll do it for the Masters. And into the elites now. First up, let's get our elite woman champion up there. Coming down from British Columbia, our gold medalist, Diane Snoblin. And now for the elite men, your top three places. In third place, the bronze medal goes to Andy, the birthday boy Baker. In the silver medal, it's Guy McClintock. And your gold medal goes to number 12. It's Andrew Karlberg. The coefficient of pizza. Is there an equation for that too? All right. That should do it. And with that podium presentation concluding, I think the official proceedings of Fred's Race 2022 are finished. Yeah, pie would be a part of the coefficient of pizza. That does make much sense to me. Folks, thanks again. We're turning off the stream here and shutting down on this end. Thanks again for helping make today and this whole weekend go so smoothly. Been a joy, been a pleasure. We'll see you for more racing later this week as we're coming back on Wednesday and Friday. Monday is canceled, so we can all recover from our work this weekend. Thanks, everybody.